End of July, this past July, I might have these dates wrong, I can't remember. But anyway, by the end of July or end of August, we had to have what they consider sort of our final plan, but there's going to be more planning and funding impacts to go along. But what they're saying is that they gave us all the stipulations on how to look at a data center and to turn in our plan on how we're going to consolidate. At each one of those steps, each one of those due dates, they brought in, I know our agency put 2 people on the review teams. The agencies all went in, they reviewed everyone else's plan and gave comments, and OMB came back with feedback. And so just I think about 2 weeks ago, there are X number of data centers in the federal government, and we're going to get these down to here are the numbers. Some agencies only had 2 data centers. I mean, either they've done a great job at consolidating, or they're not coming to the table with everything they have, right? So we'll see where that goes with what it's even been on WTOP. I heard that on WTOP about a week ago. Did anybody hear that too? Talked about the report and how many data centers. They got the number wrong. They said there was only like, I think 1,200 data centers across the federal government, and then the report came out and said over 2,000. So.
2,000, and they want to get to how
many? Well, each agency's come back with their plan, and either OMB is approving it or they're not approving it. And this review panel that they have all the agencies come together and look at are, I guess, giving feedback on that. I think
they didn't select the target in state then.
For the federal government. I mean, no. Well, they've put this number out there, but each agency has different numbers. I mean, you can look at it. You can look at the report. I'm sure it's probably on the web or something. Is it?
Dept did a big conference on it last May.
Yeah.
Like several items on the web.
Right. So, okay. Yes.
When does a computer room become a data center? What's the definition of a data center?
Yeah.
People install data center.
Yeah, they said, what was it? Was it a tier 1, any tier 1 centers, I think it was? They talked about,
They gave square foot.
they had guidelines. I can't remember what the guidelines were exactly, but they did define it. They did define it.
Your embassies, you can't consider them as data centers.
Well, I think ours all did fall at the tier 1 level, believe it or not. They did. So that was our problem, right? So, okay. Yes.
Are you trying to consolidate technology and standardize around certain technologies, or you're pretty much leaving it open that you'll support whatever is out there?
Well, okay, so right now we're trying to consolidate. We are standardizing on trying to virtualize, but some will stay physical. We are trying to standardize on the storage that we bring in. But as far as the applications, we haven't hit that yet. We don't feel that we could take that on at this point and be successful. But we do want to do that. I've looked at data centers that are like Oracle. If anybody's been to Oracle's data center, where what they've done is they've standardized on the stack, right? And that's very attractive. But at this point, in a consensus-driven organization, we haven't been able to drive that. Okay, your database is going to be Oracle. all your apps are going to be here. And from that perspective, it's hard to manage all those different platforms and infrastructure that they come across with. So. We're taking this step first.
Are you also trying to be fully redundant with the 2 data centers?
Yes.
In the sense of 100% recovery time sort of thing?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, what we are doing right now is we're leaving it up to the application owner. So if the application owner, if they're physical, definitely they're going to have to put the infrastructure in both places. If they want to be virtual, then they have to come to us, and we'll do that virtualization and make them redundant. But that's up to them. But that'll be a problem if one data center goes down and all of a sudden somebody didn't make their application redundant. Then they'll blame it on us, of course. You know that. The other thing that we're doing is we're looking very closely at our storage solution, and we're looking to make sure that we don't have the same thing that happened to the DMV happen. And so we have a study that's about to kick off to look at all that to see what more we can do. And I would highly encourage that for anybody to do that as well. But, yes?
When you were looking to build buy decision on either one of the data centers,
Yes.
was it feasible for you to consider non-federal partnerships, either with a state, a county, or a city, or a large university perhaps, to get some economies of scale?
Not in the State Department. I mean, No. I mean, that brings up the whole cloud computing issue, right? And that right now we consider ourselves a private cloud that we're building, and we're also inviting in other foreign affairs agencies. That USAID will be in one of our data centers, and we'll offer other foreign affairs agencies to come in. But we, you know, a data center that has a lot of guards already, and we have to put our own guards there. I mean, that kind of tells you, what I have to deal with. So it's pretty stringent. So we're not yet. Our CIO is very, very interested in doing as much as we can with cloud computing, but the whole security thing, I have to echo what you said a little bit ago. I mean, who's the DAA? If we put a system in another facility and they do something that changes that infrastructure, the DAA is still going to be the CIO, and she's still the one who's had to go up on the Hill and say why there's been a breach in security, and she will be the one that has to go again. So until that, nut is cracked, I just don't see that happening. Yes.
I want to say thank you and Hillary for making my job easier. And I love the 3 buttons when I switch from OpenNet to Citrix to classify to my database. And I love the fact that I don't have all this extra hardware underneath my desk. I have 3 buttons. And for a faster system, it is faster.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'll take that back. Thank you. Okay. Yes.
What did the COOP planning for you guys look like?
Well, we do COOP right now. We do off-site backups and things like that. But what we're really planning is that our redundant data centers will really be instrumental in our whole redundant capability. So.
Did you take a look, though, at certain things like having 20% of your users available within 5-minute outage, or how to have their email fully operational within, X amount of time? Is that kind of planning too?
I mean, that kind of planning we think we have right now with the infrastructure that we have in place in our different data centers. And that's what we will continue when we go to the West. So, but we will still do off-site backups just in case. We will still have that capability. So, okay. Yes.
You said you use the commercial data center because you're in a big hurry.
Yes.
And now that you've got both of them being built, you've looked at both models. If you didn't have the time pressure and you could do it all over again, would you go and build the first data center yourself, or would you go commercial?
That's a great question, and it's a political one, I will tell you. There are people who, once we stood up, the first one said, "Oh, let's try to change this model and go with this the second time." But there were others who said, "No, we need to own at least one of our data centers." So, regardless of the factors, right? I'm the O&M for a data center, which I don't have with East. I do with the legacy systems, and we meet monthly with with our facilities managers that are doing the O&M on that facility that we have that is still our redundant center. It takes a lot of horsepower to keep that thing operational, and I know that in a few years down the road we're going to have that out west too. So it's a big responsibility. Big responsibility. Okay. Yes.
I wanted to applaud you for your efforts. It's an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And what your agency has done is excellent. I did have a question with regards to SANs and virtualization. Are everything tied into a SAN VMs? Are they
Yes.
standalone servers? Is it a combination?
I think most everything is tied into the SAN. I mean, we may have some customers that, we have some customers that are tied into their own SAN, some of our big customers. And, we have a few dogs and cats out there, but our model is we want you to come into our virtualization and our SANs that are connected to the VMs. That's what we're really pushing. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, and I hope everyone enjoys the hockey game. Thank you.